My name is Alex Karanja. I'm a design engineer. So I usually talk about typical things. I can give like what of what I do on a basis. Yeah, but what I do, make sure that the teams here are working well. So based on the requirements and projects we get, looking at who is handling what and how we can be able to support the rest of the business. Yeah. So for my career so far, I think I'm enjoying where I am in terms of where I've gotten. It's been, I'll say it's been a journey because I started off as a graphics designer. Then I went into front-end development and then switched to UX, of which that's where my passion is. Yeah, so where I see myself in the next 2 years, uh, my aim is to be an SME in this space. So looking at being more, as well as being a consultant when it comes to craft, as well as people. So working with people and how to manage teams, creating performing teams that and ensuring that there's no like burnout, great work-life balance. So yeah, in the next 2 years, that's the space I want to be an SME and as a consultant as well. So I can see there's a hand up, Koima.
Okay. Been up since the meeting began, so I'm not sure if it's working.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you from my side. I just wanted for the others to confirm.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
With me today, I have my colleague and a friend as well, Godfrey. So Godfrey, you can introduce yourself as well.
Hi guys, hope you're doing fine. Like has been mentioned, my name is Godfrey Kimani. Currently senior product designer at Safaricom, where we work closely with Alex to make sure that we create a product that are intuitive, has a better or streamlined experience to the user, and which really makes an impact to their life. Happy to be here. Happy to have me. Thanks.
Back to you, Winnie, or we can get started. You can get on this.
Yeah, happy to see you, Godfrey. Yeah, so I think that the interviewees are in the room. So we have Florence and Sharon, and our interviewers will be Alex and Godfrey. So Alex, you can take over. The floor is yours. All the best.
Okay. So yes, maybe you can turn on your camera kindly. Yes, I think this is a request. So just to note, for most of your interviews, they'll require you to turn on your camera so that they are sure of who they are interviewing. Yeah. So for this interview, we have a company called Vivotel. So it's just a virtual company that we thought of. And the reason we are hiring is we need a new team member in our team to be able to deliver superior experiences. The aim for this interview and the reason why we're hiring for this capacity is to provide a superior experience for our growing customer base, which is in line with our mission to deliver customer-centered solutions that deliver value to our customers and product that change lives. So I believe my colleague has introduced himself, so I'll start off with the questions. So Florence, kindly tell us about your career history and why your role is relevant to this role.
Oh, okay. Florence Adindo, and I have a background in. Okay, first of all, I started out in. I did finance. I did a finance degree. Then from there onwards, the industries I got into were sales and insurance, a little bit of insurance, and investment companies. So basically, there I did sales. Then after that, my recent work, the work I did was project management. And during the COVID period, the contract had ended. So after the contract ended, then now I ventured into being I became a virtual assistant. Then from there, that's when I learned about UX. But really, from the time I was a very small girl, I used to like problem solving a lot. So I came to realize right now, when I'm straight from boot camp, that UX, I found out about UX, but really I had been doing it, but I didn't know it was called UX. So this is where I am. I'm straight from bootcamp and I'm looking for an entry-level job.
Okay, thanks a lot, Godfrey.
All right, thanks for that. That's quite a brief introduction. Could you tell us what is your definition of UX design, or what do you understand by the term UX design?
You're speaking to me?
Yes, Florence.
So yeah, then maybe just to clarify, we'll be alternating with the questions. Yeah.
Okay, I think UX design is the process of making products meaningful and relevant to users.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that. So I'd want you to take us through, using a recent project, take us through your product design process, highlight the tools used, the main challenges that you faced, how you solved them, and the lesson that you learned. So you're free to share your screen.
Okay, can you all see?
Yeah, we're able to see now from my side. If you can confirm.
I can see as well.
Okay, can I proceed?
Yes, kindly.
Okay, so this is a project I did while in bootcamp. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can be able to hear you.
Yeah, so it's a project I did while in my bootcamp that I completed in February this year. So it's about a food ordering app. So first of all, I started with the problem. I saw that there's a difficulty when people are ordering various delicacies. And normally with the current processes, it's very difficult because the process is very tedious. And yeah, it's very tedious, which involves waiting for long queues in the restaurant and even driving all the way to the restaurant. So the solution that was proposed for this was to come up with a solution that makes people makes people feel less stressed when they're ordering for food. So I started out my design process, and my process is empathizing, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, then test. So in the empathize phase, which involves user research, personas, problem statements, and user journey maps. So I jumped right into it and I did a white paper research. I did this project last year while COVID's effect was still there. So I did a research, and I got a recent statistics from the recent COVID, the pandemic situation, which brought about a lot of people, many businesses moved from the traditional way of ordering to online. So from the research, the main three things that I picked from there is normally people can't wait longer than 40 minutes when they order food. And normally, most people when they order, almost all people complain about food being hot or cold. Then the third one was when an order goes miss, which it's missing or it's wrong or it's mixed up, 4 out of 5 customers blame the food management of the restaurants. So that is the three main findings I got from the research.
Just a question. Just go up a bit.
Okay. So from there, I got up.
Just a minute. Allow me to interrupt. I'll want you to explain more on point 2. That's part of your white paper, where you stated the average waiting time that people feel comfortable waiting for food to be delivered is 40 minutes or less. So how were you able to get this specific insight, and how did you validate this?
This is a research I got from the internet. Like I said, it's a white paper research, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay, did it form part of the hypothesis for your
It's an article I came across. I can share the link later.
Okay, go on.
So this is just a white paper research. I started with that so that I know. Then now I move into survey. Are we together?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So from there, after now getting my findings from the internet and looking at various articles, I went and did survey so that I get to understand what goes through the user's mind when they order for food. So I conducted a survey, and given the COVID conditions, I had to use online. So first of all, I conducted a survey among 20 participants. So I chose friends of my friends because the friends of my friends don't know me much. Are we together?
We are together. I have
Yeah, so that I don't get biased.
Okay, allow me to Nini. So why was gender a key question in your survey?
Gender.
Yes, that's the first question on your survey questions.
I think I had to put gender so that I know.
A follow-up question.
I'm asking in terms of value, what was it supposed to deliver value to your survey for the gender part?
Or the gender part, because you find most people who cook are women and men cook less. So that one would help me like get an insight derived from like now bachelors or women who live alone or with their families.
Okay,
So I
continue.
can get to know the personas from there.
Okay,
Can I continue?
Yes, kindly.
Okay, so the survey questions I conducted using SurveyMonkey. I had 20 participants. Then afterwards, I followed it with interview questions. That was 5 participants. So from the online survey, the key findings I got were the methods of getting their meal. 45% preferred to call in other than using a food service app or walking in. The calling in part, the participants were 9. Then the next one was I had to know which type of meal do people order the most. So I found out that 65% order lunch. So 13 participants, they preferred ordering food during lunchtime. Then the next one is delivery in advance for discount. I'd wanted to know if maybe if they are given, if the food can be delivered, then they're given a discount if they could be okay with it. So it happens 80% of them preferred that. That is 16 participants out of the 20 participants. So from there, I did interviews using the open-ended questions here. So I did the interviews, and these are the findings I got after observing the way they were answering my questions. Like one of them said, deliveries are always late and support is useless.
Florence, just to cut you short, did you mention the number of people that you used to do the survey? That is not the survey, the interview.
Yeah. The interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 5.
Okay, that's okay.
So from there, I got some insights, some findings from there. And the first one was users want a very effective, efficient, and timely service that does not delay their food. Then other considerations were some people are foreigners and they prefer the apps that are currently there to have the language translation. And others wanted the apps to have clear pictures. So those are the insights I got. And also I got some pain points. So I had like 4. One was time. People don't have time to prepare a meal. And tracking. One of the participants said that normally when they order food with the current food ordering apps, they can order the food, but they can't contact the delivery man. So they end up falling back to the old ways of calling in to the restaurant to make an order. So they don't want they shy away from the food apps. Then others were saying the images and the visuals are so much complex and they don't understand. So they shy away from that. This one, accessibility, already mentioned about the language. Okay, so from there, I created personas. So the first persona is Elsa Mwanaisha. Elsa Mwanaisha, she's a marketing manager. She's on assignment in Nairobi. She has 3 children. So she's normally very busy throughout the week. So over the weekend is the only time she gets to be with the children, to spend time with the children. So she prefers to order food from restaurants because the children like the favorite meals and delicacies. So currently, when she orders food, then it's very time consuming. The process is very difficult. So she would prefer having an app that is very intuitive. So I created a problem statement for Elsa. Then next is Austin. Austin is a computer engineer. Then given the COVID conditions that were there at that time, he used to work online and he normally wants to get his food order hot and on time. So he normally works in 2 different locations in a week. So he wanted to get a restaurant. Wherever he goes, he gets a restaurant nearby. So I created a problem statement also. So after that, I explored the user journey map of Austin. What he normally goes through, normally when he orders food. So first of all, the task, he looks for the restaurant in the online directory. Then he goes to the restaurant. Then he waits in line. Then he gets the receipts. He goes back and sits. He sits down. Then he waits. He gets disappointed. He's frustrated. He goes back to the counter. And since there's a meeting starting, there's an online meeting starting, he opts for home delivery at an added fee. So he goes home, then the order is delivered there. At the end of it all, he's happy, but he's just frustrated. Any question?
So I see part of your improvement opportunities is to create an app to order online without going to the restaurant physically. But does this connect to your main problem where you're looking at improving existing ordering apps in terms of, you've said, first of all, the ordering process of the journey is tedious, it's not clear, the pictures are not clear, the delivery time, and as well as tracking. Does this connect with your main problem statement?
Can you please come again? I haven't understood.
So I'm asking, part of your improvement opportunities, that is the second part, is create an app to order online without going to a restaurant physically. But then problem statement talked about you improving the food ordering process where the main problems were first, the ordering process on other apps was tedious, pictures were not clear, there was no tracking, plus delivery time. So that is connect with that, the opportunities, because I see you've created it as an opportunity of which you're trying to improve an existing solution.
Now, this one I'm improving because here he had to go to the restaurant because he's not aware of any app. So
But
since
then,
I
does
saw
that mean
he's going to the restaurant now,
Sorry?
now the improvement opportunity is to get something that will make him prevent him from going all the way to the restaurant physically.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so from there I went to the ideate phase. After getting the research statistics and insights, so I analyzed the available, the ones that are the food apps that are there currently, the popular food ordering apps. So I looked at Uber Eats, Jumia Food, and Bolt Food, and Glovo. So in the four of them, I looked at the strengths and the weaknesses. Then I tried to identify a gap that will then transform into an opportunity for a solution.
Do you have
So
let me interrupt you there. Do you have a competitive analysis of this?
yes. I can send you a link.
Other than that,
Sure, not the link, because we can do a post interview analysis. Can you be able to show what you did?
and then on the same, while you're still getting the auditor, could you also tell us or just give us a few pointers why you think or what from the competitive analysis, what made your solution stand out from the others that you did the audit? What is that few pointers that you say it really stood out?
What stood out here after doing the competitive audit?
Yes,
Yeah.
after doing the competitive audit, what made your solution stand out from the others that you had researched?
Okay, so what I observed in the four of them is that all of them you can order food, but you don't have a breakdown of the timings, like when you've made the order, then now the food is being prepared, and now it's taken to the person who's delivering, then now it's being delivered.
Just to stop you there, I'm a user of Uber Eats and Bolt Food, and they do have this analysis, a time analysis where they're telling you the order is confirmed, the food is being prepared, and it's being delivered, and they have a tracker. So I'm saying I'm a user of Uber Eats and Bolt Food, and they have a structured way of telling you the meal is being prepared, the meal is being delivered, and they have a tracker. So
Yeah,
just
I know. Even Glovo has.
yes,
Even Glovo has.
let me finish kindly. Just to build on Godfrey's question, what is one thing that's going? How are you going to improve that? Because that is already existing, and that was part of your problem statement.
Okay. what I identified from there is there's a breakdown, but there is no timing.
What do you mean by timing?
Like,
Please.
for example, like they don't have like a progressive bar that has the actual time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Okay, so I went ahead and did storyboarding for Austin, and I just wanted to visually explore how it would feel like when I have a solution for Austin. So I went down and drew a big picture. Forgive me, it's not very. Can you see? Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. So Austin is here, seated, working its lunch hour. He feels hungry, so he finds an app. Then he goes to the app. He goes to the onboarding. Then he locates the nearest restaurant. Considering now today, maybe that day he's working in a different location. Then he selects the food. Then he confirms and pays as the checkout. Then delivery is done. As you can see, Austin is happy and enjoying his meal. So from there, now we have a close-up. This is finding the app, onboarding, locating a restaurant, selecting food, checkout, confirm and pay, then fulfillment. So this is ideally, this is what I would picture it to appear at that time. All right.
Yeah, you can proceed.
Okay, so I jumped into the paper wireframes. So here I went through a process of like drawing six ideas of the homepage. So the places I've marked with red are the ones I picked, are the ones I used. Are we together?
Yes, we're together.
Okay. Then I proceeded to the digital wireframes. And this is what I created at first, hamburger menu, search filter, then delivery and pickup icons, then GPS locator. Yeah.
Okay, let me stop you there. So why did you decide to go with hamburger menu?
At first, when I started, I did that because of space. I wanted to have a lot of white space.
Okay, that's in terms of white space, but in terms of accessibility, between that and the bottom navigation drawer, which one do you think in terms of accessibility is caters for all your users?
I think the lower one, because after doing the usability study, I changed it to the lower.
Okay, thank you. Go on.
Okay, then now this is the low fidelity prototype, and this is what I used to do my first usability testing. Would you want to look at the prototype or I proceed?
Can we proceed?
Let me proceed.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Before the usability, let's go through the final prototype itself before we get to usability testing findings. So there's just a question though. Did you do the usability testing on the low fidelity, or it was
I did one on the low fidelity, then another one on the high fidelity.
Okay, then you can go to usability testing findings for the first prototype, for the first one that you did.
Oh, this one is not near. It will take a little time because I have to go to Figma.
No, we're not saying we go through the prototype. Just go to the usability findings. Huh?
Yes,
the findings.
because you've mentioned that you did two. You did one for the low fidelity.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just go through the findings.
Yeah, so after doing the first usability study on the low fidelity prototype, I got some findings. Then through those findings, I arranged them into themes. So after, okay, these are.
Before you proceed, could you also tell us how many, how did you, how you did the usability testing, and also the number of participants that you used, and how did you even screen them, and yeah, how did you even screen them and decided that you're going to use this number of participants, or this person is going to be my participant?
The participants.
Yeah.
I got them from the ones who did the interviews and some from the survey.
How many were they?
There were 7.
And how did you do the testing?
The testing was unmoderated.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you administer it? So was it remote? Was it more like a focus group, or how did you do it?
It was remote. I just sent them.
Okay, continue.
So from there, I got some findings. Then I grouped them into insights. So these findings were to access profile easily, then detailed meal ingredients, then they wanted to see more payment option details for the low fidelity prototype. Number 1, the participants, like there were 2, they complained that the hamburger menu, they can't access it because they don't understand the hamburger menu. So I saw that navigation was a little bit difficult for them. They couldn't figure it out. Then number 2, when they looked at the menu page, it was not very detailed to them. Then when it came to payments option, they wanted more details. Can I proceed?
Yeah, you can go.
Yes, please.
Okay, so from there, these are my final screens, and these are the features. The onboarding screens. This is just to guide the users before they start using the app, just to know the benefits of using Tamu app. For using the app.
Pause there. So how do I continue? How do I go to the next one? Or this is autoplayed? Then it gets me to the last screen, maybe with a call to action.
Click on here.
Where?
Yeah, I have a mock-up for it.
So I click on that arrow.
Yes.
But that is not clear as a CTA, as a call to action. Was that brought up? Did you after doing your testing, did that come up?
It did. I used the web guidelines and it passed.
Pardon?
I used the web guidelines, the contrast.
I'm not talking about contrast. I'm talking about clarity, where when I saw that the niche that you're creating is between 20 something to 50. Is that arrow clear to someone that that's the next button? Or did you provide an on-screen, tips for someone to know that that's the button? Because for me, how it looks, the only call to action I see is skip, but not the next, to go to the, let's say, to the next onboarding screen.
But there's a skip here.
I'm saying that is
this one.
Yes, that is the main call to action, because the arrow is not a call to action. It's not clear to me.
Oh, it's not clear to you. Okay.
What do you think?
Yes,
I-
also
I-
the visual hierarchy, it is not quite clear. Doesn't really connect to the real world experience that I would expect. To see an arrow actually on top of the headings and the subheadings, it doesn't really bring what I'm expecting to see. That's not what I'm getting from here. Yeah, so it is not clear enough. Also, in terms of mapping, where you've mapped it, it is not designed for accessibility. You think that one has not been catered for. You'll simply miss, or the users will simply find out where to click, or even mostly they will click on skip. But anyway, we'll want to see what you did in terms of the usability testing. What was the reception from your users?
You can
Thank you so much for the feedback.
Before you go, I think there's a question. Is how you build your case study? There's something that I was expecting to see. After the usability testing that you did, I would expect that you went and did a new set of wireframes, just catering the feedback that you've received. I've not seen there. Is that a decision that you decided to omit? That then you go to the final design?
I changed. It's just that I can't put everything here.
Okay. You can
Okay. That's it.
Okay, thank you for the feedback here for the onboarding screens. Okay, so next I worked on the navigation. This is before usability study. Then this is after the final usability study, which is the high fidelity. As you can see, I got rid of the hamburger menu, and now I use this one.
Okay, just pause there. So the second icon, I want to know, did you test the understanding of it? So for me, I see it's a lab icon, but did it cater for your base, for your customer base? That is between, I think, 20 to 50. Is it clear what it is? Because for me, I don't know, I'm not sure what it is. And I expect as well, my mom falls in the same category of your target customer. So how will she know that? I want to assume that is where you have maybe your favorites or some sort, because it's not even clear to me. So what informed your decision to use that and with no label?
I decided to make it a little bit exciting for the client to use. You see this highlighted, when the home is highlighted.
I'm not talking about being exciting or even being highlighted. I'm talking about understandability. Because as a user, you need to understand when I click there, what am I clicking on? And that's why I'm asking, what does that lab icon represent? The heart icon, not the lab icon.
It's favorite, because when when the person clicks here, it will be written favorite, like home.
But that means that you acted on your assumption that your customer base will understand that without a label.
I just decided to use the reasons.
Okay. In conjunction with that, could you explain to us why your home icon or your home label does not have an icon while the others have an icon? Did you is it a decision? Is it a design decision, or what has made you to do that?
It's because when this yellow, this orange thing moves here, this one becomes a house. When it moves here, it becomes a label.
Is that in line with consistency guidelines?
It's just a recent UX
Pardon?
technology, like the recent features,
Okay,
the trending ones.
but that means that you traded accessibility trend.
I don't think so.
Okay, continue.
Okay.
Can I
let's
ask a
proceed.
question?
I was just keeping up with the recent trends.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Not
Yes,
to
yes,
you.
please.
I'm kind of struggling to see who was asking about consistency guidelines because I have a question for that.
Can we have the questions afterwards? Because it's a mock interview. So I'm sure there is the third party asking directly. I don't know that question will be posed to the interviewer or the interviewee. We can have the question. We'll have a Q&A session after this, kindly. If that is okay with that, okay, Sally?
No, that's
I'm
all right. It'll be
Okay.
a question to you, not to the.
All right. Will you proceed, Florence? Please note that you have around 8 minutes to proceed
8 minutes.
to finish. Yes.
Yeah, so now the other feature was order, status, and map location tracking. Yeah, so this is what I had.
On that first screen where your cursor is, could you tell us why you used the background image? Also, did you test for contrast for the font that you used? The font's
Yes.
color?
All these are tested. They're in line with the web guidelines.
What about the background image? Why was it that
Yes.
as a choice for you to work with a background image? Or what does it actually represent? Does it have a meaning?
Or the value? What value does it deliver for this particular screen?
That it's for delivery.
Okay,
Because
yes.
this is a process of
For-
delivery starting.
Yes, we understand it is a delivery screen, but we are trying to understand what value does the background image bring to that screen.
It brings a feeling of there's somebody coming to deliver this thing. And this guy is this guy.
So the background, the picture of the person who's going to deliver.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, in terms of looking at this screen as a user, what will you be keen at looking at that screen? Is that the person that who's going to deliver, or is it the delivery information?
It's the delivery information. But then again, when I did the competitive audit, I also looked at the different reviews in the Google Play Store. And that's when I discovered people don't have a connection to the person who is delivering. So I tried to make it more personalized.
That's okay, but you say that the delivery information is the key thing that a person will look at once they land on this screen.
Yes.
Just your personal view. Once you land on this screen, what takes you? What takes, or where do your eyes land first?
In front.
It's the person, but not the information. That is what is grabbing my attention as a user.
Okay.
Exactly. The image is more prominent than the details on top. And also on the things to do with cognitive load. Did you also consider that screen has so much information for the user for them to synthesize, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you cater for that? Did you even test that and see what users will say? All right. Anyway, I think
According
I'm
to me, I
jumping ahead.
felt I had enough white space because of the hierarchy, the typography.
Okay. We can proceed then.
Okay. Then I also introduced, because of time is running out, I introduced the rating so that you can rate the delivery guy once he delivers. Then also scheduling an order. I introduced this one so you can schedule before you order.
Another question I want you to answer is, just go back. In terms of alignment, I can see that. No, just scroll down just a minute. So where you have the price, what informed that spacing? Because it seems like it's out or almost out of it.
Yeah. I can see that.
Did you also test the contrast of that black shade on the orange button?
Yes, I tested. It
Which
follows.
tool did you use? Which tool did you use to test?
Ali contrast
Okay, go on.
checker. So also I did the payment option details. I added more. Initially it was like this, and now then I added these other options so that you can add the details.
Okay, what's the third payment method?
This is Visa and there's MasterCard.
MasterCard. But
Yeah.
you took a second to think about it, to think which one is the last one, yes? So that's on discovery is the issue, you see. But go on.
Okay. Then after that, this is the user flow.
Wait, you created the
I
user
think-
flow, but
Yeah.
how did you create
the user flow is already there. I'm just displaying everything now.
You see, again, it's fine that you're displaying, but you, as a recruiting manager, you already distracted me already at that point. You've taken me to the final product, then you're coming back. You know.
Sorry about that.
Okay,
Okay, let's go on.
yeah, so we won't go through that because that was supposed to connect with the first part when you're doing your case study. So we'll go to the next question. So Godfrey, you can take up the next question.
All right. So I want to understand how you, after working on this project, how did you implement or introduce this solution? And just basically, how did you introduce these solutions to your product managers, to your designers, and to even developers?
This was a project.
Oh, this was a personal project.
It was a project for my boot camp.
Okay,
So
thank you.
actually what I did from the final screens, I just went back and did a follow-up feedback session with about 20 participants just to test the success rate. That's what I did. But I never went up to now handing over to any manager.
Okay, thank you. So how do you keep up with the latest design trends? What resources do you use to keep yourself inspired and learning?
I watch YouTube videos. I read Medium daily.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I also look at Behance and Dribble for inspiration.
Okay, Godfrey, you can take the last one.
Yeah. All right. So what are some of the things that you can say that really interested you on this project that you've worked on? So what are some of the most interesting things that you will say that really interested you while working on this project?
What really caught my interest was actually it was ideating. Yeah, I realized that what the users say, it really matters a lot. How they feel, and when I observe them, what they think really plays a major role. It can make me iterate at any time. So I really learned that iteration process is ongoing. It does not stop.
Okay, just like a final question, in a high level question, or how you can answer it in a high level. So what are some of the most interesting projects that you've worked on?
Sorry?
What is the most interesting project that you've worked on?
Interesting project. The most interesting project I did is this one, and also there's another one for responsive web design.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that.
I enjoyed it because now I consider everyone from the, I had to look at the desktop and the tablet and the mobile.
Okay, back to you, Alex.
Okay. Thanks a lot, friends, for your time. Our team will be in touch with you to know how you performed and for the next stage and the next process. So thank you. We can go to the next candidate. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm just having a small bad day with a pimple on my nose. Otherwise, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
How are
Godfrey?
you, Godfrey?
I am also doing fine. Sorry.
I am also fine. Yes.
Okay, so we'll start off. Friends, you can switch off your camera when you're on this next candidate kindly, as well as mute your mic. So, Sharon, kindly tell us about your career history and why you think you fit in this role and how your career background has prepared you for this role.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question. Um, I started off as a software developer. Um, Still in school though. So I used to code from 2019, front end, back end, like how beginners jump from one language to another. Then I found passion in PHP, and then I came to realize, like, no, coding is not what I really want to do. I love designing. I used to spend a lot of time designing my projects. So I did not struggle with the designing, but I struggled a bit with coding. Then I decided to shift on design this year. Yeah, this year, January. So I decided to self-teach myself. Yes. What was the other question that I've missed?
No, actually, it was just a question just about your career history and how it has prepared you for this role.
Oh yeah. So by self-teaching myself, I have been watching YouTube, mostly YouTube, and I read a lot of books. So I and currently I'm doing a UX course from Google and at the bootcamp. So far so good. I have the skills and the qualities for this role from my studies. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So, how do you define UX design?
UX design. UX design is to me it is the process by which a user uses a product and finally having a goal and then getting to achieve that goal by the end of the process.
Okay.
Okay, Alex, the next question.
Yes. So I would want you to use a recent project to take us through your design process, highlighting the challenges, how you solve the challenges, the lessons that you learned out of that project.
Okay.
You're free to share your screen.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can see my screen. Please confirm.
Yes, it's visible now.
Ah,
Yes, I
yes,
can see.
that is me, Sharon Chakwet. And then, sorry, I have one question. How many minutes do I have?
40
you have,
minutes.
yeah.
Sorry?
You have 40 minutes.
Oh, wow. Oh. Okay, what I do, I'm a student at KCA, my final year this year. hoping to graduate next year. I'm a UX designer also, self-taught. I do projects and freelance, solo projects, freelance. And then I began my company. She designs KE this year. Yes, this year, 1st April. Yeah. Fun fact, I'm a swimmer. I love swimming so much. And I'm a dancer, but not a good one. But yeah. So here's a bit of my philosophy. Always be consistent in whatever you do, because I believe that consistency defeats talent at some point. One
Sharon,
can,
allow me to interrupt.
yes.
But I think this was part of question 1. So kindly take us through one project in your portfolio.
Oh, sorry. So here are my projects, and then I'm going with the first one. There it is. I did a picnic app. I designed this picnic app to help users find new places where they can have and host their picnics. So the project overview. This app, it is called Picnic App. It is a simple app. It enables users to find gardens and hotels where they can create the picnic experience. The duration was 3 weeks. It was a solo project, not a real one, a conceptual one. I used Figma as my tool, and my role was a UI UX designer. So I defined the problem statement. The problem statement was people find it hard to look for places, and also there are a lot of information that are very difficult to find, and also the information they find is not always reliable and up to date. So my goal for this project was to create a picnic planning assistant that could be reliable for users and would cover their needs. Yeah. Any question, feel free to ask.
No question for now. Can you continue?
So this was my design process. First, I discover. I used interviews and surveys, and then I defined by using user personas, pain points, journey maps, and empathy maps. Then I ideated using storyboards, how might we questions, and information architecture. And then finally, I designed. Yeah. So the first one, discovery. I researched by interviewing 4 people and conducting a survey that gave me 20 responses. Among the questions for the 4 interviewees I had, I asked them to tell me about how they plan the picnic. They describe goals and expectations for the picnic, and also share their impressions. And finally, they tell me about the picnic experience, whether it was negative or positive. For the survey, some of the questions I asked was how easy it was to plan a picnic, where they got their picnic site ideas, and if they had the picnic, was it the same experience that they had while researching?
Before you proceed, a question. So you said you did survey. Which platform did you use to conduct the survey?
The survey I used Google. Yeah.
Be specific. Is it Google Docs or you just Google? Because you just said Google.
No, the Google survey. I created a Google Docs that I sent to people where they can fill, and then the response came back to my email.
Okay, proceed. Thanks.
And then these are some of the results that I got. From the survey, I got the priorities of the users. Most of them wanted to know the way they could get to their destination. They also wanted to view images of the site they would have their picnics. They also wanted reviews of the selected location from people who have been there, prices and entry fees of the location, where they can have tasty and cheap lunch, and also feedback of the services, of the quality of services. Moving forward, we go to the define phase. I had two personas. The first one is June. June is a student, and she likes hanging out with her friends, especially on the weekend, and also she likes celebrating small wins. One of her frustrations was to find a place to host her picnic, and this was a frustration to her because it was always difficult for her to find, because she was not sure of the location or the prices of the site. And then her goal was to find an app that would make it easier for her to find all this information. The second persona is George. George is a teacher and a father and a husband. He loves to go on picnics with his children and family. His frustration was finding places to have a picnic with the family, because of mostly the children. The children love to have sites to view and fun activities during the picnics, which one cannot easily know if they are offered in that site. So his goal also was having an app or website that clearly indicates the fun activities and also interesting sceneries on the picnic site. Any question, or can we move?
Can you proceed?
Yeah. So the second phase, define phase, which I included an empathy map. I wanted to know how the user thinks, the user says, what they do, and what they feel. So here, using June, June says they've never been to a picnic. They do not know what to take on a picnic, and also the friends spend a lot of days looking up for picnic sites. What they do, they look up people's experience on Instagram, they read comments on the social pages like the Instagram, and also they ask friends who have already been to that picnic site or who have had their picnics where to host their picnics. What they think that an app would save their time, and also they think that information should be up to date always. They always feel frustrated with the searches, with the no quality results. They also feel dissatisfied and they feel confused where to choose a site. We can proceed. The pain points. I got three major pain points. The information about the condition of the entry can be out of date or completely absent. The photos and the information about the location does not always correspond with what they actually see. And then finally was the way to get to the designated location was not always provided because some of the users are new and yeah, they do not know where to get.
Let me pause you there. What's the difference between the first and the third pain point?
The first one and the third one.
Yes.
The third one, they talked about how to get to the location. And then the first one, the conditions of the entry of the picnic site is out of date and absent. I feel like there is a difference. The first one is location. The last one is location, and then the first one is, let's say, what they need to bring. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's just an issue with framing, but you can continue.
Oh, okay. The journey map. Here's the journey map of June when deciding to find a picnic venue and organizing the picnic with the friends. So the steps to be taken for her to finally find the picnic site. So the first one is finding an app. What she does, she either Googles the available apps or ask friends and family. And then at this point, she's really confused on what to choose. Is someone talking?
No, you can continue.
Okay. At this point, she's really confused because there is a lot of search results and she does not know what to go with. And then she searches for a picnic site. After finding the app, she searches. Wow, that one was a tough one. She searches of where to go. So she looks up for the search accessibility, and then and also she can scroll through the suggested sites. Here she's undecided because there are a lot of sites to choose from that are displayed. And then after finding an app that a site that she wants to choose, she can now view the features of the site. She does this by clicking on the picnic site and then view the details, which includes the about of the site, the location, the reviews, and also the gallery. Here, she is satisfied after viewing the features and the details of the site. She then continues to book a slot. She books a slot by clicking on book slot, then selects the dates, makes payments. Yeah, she's hopeful that she will not be disappointed. And then she goes for the picnic. She can click on location, then click on maps. Then after going for the picnic, she comes and reviews the site. Yeah, she's excited. Yeah. Any question?
No, Candy, let's continue.
The storyboard. This is June's also. Here I created the storyboard on how a user would interact with the product. So the first image is June studying to better her future. Then the second one is her and her friends catching up after school on Friday. And then the third one, which is immediately below, them catching up. They decide to plan for a picnic, but they do not know where to go. And then finally, they discover my picnic app. Now they have a smooth and easier time locating where they want to go. Now they're happy. How my 3 questions that I had actually. Yeah. So how might we? Well, let me say, how might I? What I really thought of here was how would I provide a reliable source of picnic site information? How might I get to make users see and feel the real site without really being there? And the last was, how might I create an application that has a wide functionality which would be reliable for users? So this was the, oh yeah, we have reached the ideation phase. We reached the ideation phase previously. And here's my information architecture for the pages that would be in my site, in my app. Sorry. On the home page, I had the home page itself, and then the favorites, my picnics, and also my profile. In my profile, I had profile settings where someone could change the username. Yeah. Payment settings, notifications, support if someone had a problem, and then logging out. The site page would have about, gallery, location, reviews. Yeah. And the initial setup, I should have said this before the home, would have onboarding screens, which are 3 screens. This was my style guide. I chose green, a bit of yellowish, and beige. Yes. Here are the lo-fi prototypes.
Before you proceed, where are your paper sketches? I've not seen that.
I did not include that, but I had them.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah. Oh, so here are the low fidelity prototypes. Here I was thinking of how the site would be, how the app would be. Yes. And then high prototypes, high fidelity prototypes looked like this. So the first 3 are the onboarding pages. And
Again,
then
before you go,
yes.
allow me to cut you short.
Yeah.
You moved from the low fidelity to the high fidelity. So I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun ahead, or did you do any usability testing for the wireframes that you've done?
On this, no, honestly, I did not.
So we can assume that here you worked with your own assumptions that were not validated directly, because now if you do that, it means that it will cost time and resources once you do this ability then to come back and change your designs.
I thought of doing the usability tests after the high fidelity prototypes, because I thought, my thinking was, with the users who I would use to do the the usability testing, I felt like they would not really understand the wireframes. So I wanted to give them something solid to look at.
Okay. Another question is, I see there are screens with white background. There's others with a kind of a tint. What informed that?
The ones with the ones that look a beige are the sites. When one selected a site, they would differentiate between the main screens. with that background color. And to me, I saw like
What value does that bring in terms even of visual? Let's not talk about the experience. In terms of visual, what value are delivering with that?
that one is a tough one, honestly. What am I delivering with that? I'm going to be honest. For real. To me, I saw like it looks nice, and it makes someone know that I'm in a different page. Yeah.
I think you could communicate that in a different way if someone is on a different screen again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one is just to find the value of what that thing brings to the application. What value does it also in terms of consistency? There is also something that you've broken in terms of consistency. So your screens, one are black, they have the white background, and the others have a different color. It's also one way that you're confusing the users. Then the other thing I would also want to ask is it's escaping my mind.
Yeah, as Godfrey, as you remember that, I have a question. So after the first 3 onboarding screens, I presume that the next screen is your home screen, yeah?
Yes.
Where's the navigation? Where is your navigation?
My navigation. Honestly, it's not there.
Why? Why also? Because I only see it at your picnic list, and with a bus icon, of which I don't know what it represents. I don't know if maybe you're allowing people to order maybe swivel or something, because that's what comes to my mind. So I don't know what that tabs represent. I only see it there. So how do I navigate to the favorites, to the account from homepage?
From the homepage.
Yes, how do you do that? Because I only see it and what first answer me. What does that bus represent? That bus icon represent?
It represents the picnic site that one has chosen or has ever chosen.
Does that communicate? Do you think that it communicates clearly to your targeted users?
No.
And why did you go ahead and use it?
To me, I thought it communicated, but before I would have done the usability testing. If I had done the usability testing, maybe someone could raise that issue. And yes.
Exactly. The point of testing early. These are some of the trade-offs that you will have seen earlier that we could have corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the other question about the navigation of the homepage, it would be there. Let's just say it is a mistake that I am very sorry for when making this presentation.
What was the locality of your targeted users for this solution?
Kenya.
And then why do you have the price in dollars? Because that make me believe that this is a template that you picked and maybe customized.
No.
But then why do you have the price in dollars?
I felt like dollars is a standard for everyone. I had not thought of.
Okay, but it was made for Kenya. So I currently don't know the rate that the dollar is retailing at or trading at right now. So the conversion. So you are creating more memory and mind work and processes for me to convert that to know how much to cost, because that is in dollars. even if it's the most accepted and used and traded currency, but
Mhm.
then to your targeted customer, do you think that helps? Because what is okay? Let me ask you directly. I see this is $230. What is that in Kenyan shillings?
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly. So you need to localize your solution.
Yeah.
And just one point also, as someone who is recruiting, I will feel like there is a gap. Your solution does not connect with your persona, does not even connect with your target audience. All right. So for me right now, I will feel like I am lost. We started off with a product that is Kenyan based, then we are now traveling to a different country. That only aspect of that the pricing that you've indicated $18 gives a whole perspective. Just like what Alex said, I would think this is not work that you did. Could be a template that you used and then customized.
Another question:
Yeah.
when you're searching for a picnic site, yeah, one thing there's something you talked about location. So when you're doing your information architecture, I can see location is the last, no, is the third part.
Yeah.
So why was that?
Why was location the third one?
Yes, and do you have a screen for it? Because what I see is, sorry, there's a call incoming. I just no, go back to the high fidelity prototype. So I see location Nyali is a residential area and sub-county within Mombasa City, located the mainland north of Mombasa County. It's connected to Mombasa Island by the new Nyali Bridge. Does that help in terms of direction? Because you've created an extra touch or a click for me to see the location that is on map. So you have the description, but that cannot help. So I
Uh,
need an extra click for me to see the direction. So when you're looking for direction, let's say to a particular building or particular picnic site,
yeah.
do you need the description or do you need the map that's showing you to that place? Which one is clearer, the description or the light map that's showing you your direct direction to the picnic site?
The map.
So that's when it comes to cognitive load, that's another thing.
Um, but on the third page, like we have about gallery, location, and reviews. So the about does not show the location. It just gives an overview of the picnic site.
No,
And
I'm
then
not. Let me pause it there. I'm not talking about the about, because the active part. Sorry, the active tab is location.
yeah,
The second row, the third screen.
yeah.
So I'm not talking about the about tab. I'm talking about the location tab.
The, I added show in maps where you could, if you clicked the show in maps here, it could show you exactly the location in your map.
Okay, that's okay. Let's continue.
Yes, by by this, I I think I had satisfied the user pain points, because if it was location they wanted, they have a show in map where they can get the direction. If it was the images of the real site, there is the gallery. And for the reviews of the people who have ever been there, there is the reviews and they can see.
So you had three pain points. So there's one, entry conditions, maybe things you can carry and all that, but I don't see it covered here. Where is it covered?
That one is not there.
but you did identify it as a pain point during your research stage.
Yes.
So why was it not covered? What informed you not your decision not to cover it?
I prioritized others like the location and the having the real sites on the app.
So with that, do you think you've delivered based on what your users wanted?
No.
Okay.
You can proceed.
Yeah.
Let's proceed to the next question.
I think he's not completed.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You can continue,
Oh,
Sharon.
yes. So these were my final screens. This one is the onboarding that allows the users to know what the app entails in few seconds.
Okay.
And then here are the screens again that we had seen previously. As you can see here in the home page, we have the navigation bar.
Navigation bar. You mentioned navigation bar.
It has appeared magically now.
Yeah.
No, like the last one was a mistake when preparing the document. And then, so these are my takeaways. During this research, it helped me understand the user pain points and also helped me get a solution to their pain points. The next step that I would have done during my framing was to conduct a usability testing. And then thereafter, I would conduct another user research with the aim of knowing whether the pain points were addressed and whether there were other problems that the user faced. And that is the end. Thank you.
Okay.
You can connect.
Godfrey can continue the next question.
Yes, you said this is a personal project. So let's assume you were to work with engineers, PO, and other designers or developers. How will you go about that?
I would let all of them get informed with the progress, and I would engage with them. For the engineers, if they were to develop that project, that app, I would keep in touch with them. Like every step they make, we would work together. If they do not understand, I would give them the insight and my process. And if they do not also understand what process comes after what, I would be there to help them and help them.
Yeah, just a follow-up question on that. How would you do that to your designs to your developers?
How would I give my designs to the developer?
Yes, the handoff, yes.
For now, I would give them the Figma site, the Figma link. But I'm currently working to learn on Zeppelin, so that process of handing over the designs would be much easier.
Okay, thank you. So how do you keep up with the latest trends, design trends, and what resources do you use to keep yourself informed, inspired, and up to date?
How do I keep myself updated? I watch a lot of design YouTube videos. I also read a lot of Medium articles. Especially, I read articles, especially Medium ones, and also I read books, a lot of design books. I'm currently reading Just Enough research by Erica. And I also connect and talk with a lot of designers, especially on LinkedIn and ADP List. And finally, when someone uploads the designs, I go through the comments, what other designers think, what other users think about their designs, and I learn a lot from that.
Okay, thank you. Godfrey, you can take the last one.
Yes, other than this project that you've shared with us, do you have any other, or what is the most interesting project that you've worked on?
I have worked with Furaha to do a project on health, but I have not yet gotten the permission to host it, like to post. Yeah, but that one was a really good project, the health and nutrition one. Yes.
Why do you think it is a good one? Maybe you can give us 2 points since you cannot be able to share.
I worked with a lot of users ranging from the old ones, the old people, and the young ones, but especially the old, because like the health matters are really yeah, they have a lot of health issues and the nutrition. And also loved that project because I got to work with designers, sorry, not designers, front end developers and the back end, and also worked with the nutritionist. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So thanks a lot. That's the end of the interview. I think Godfrey can go to the next part. We can start with feedback. So, so this maybe we can start with you, Sharon, because it's just still fresh in our minds. So, first of all, when you're doing any case study work, you need to remove yourself from the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Not I thought. It's not I see. Because you're not designing that solution for yourself. Who are you designing for?
The users.
The users, yeah. Then another key thing with case study and portfolios, you need to make it an experience. You're an experienced designer, so it needs to be clear. If I was to go through this alone, myself, without you explaining anything, I should be able to get it, to get like the problem, to get your process, to get how you made your decisions and where you based your decisions, and finally how you delivered the solution and the value that you delivered. Those things should be clear. So one thing, you have a nice structure, but then you need to design your portfolio as an experience. You see, since you're an experienced designer, make it something enjoyable, make it something that is clear, streamlined. Yeah. One thing I found an issue is how you arranged your screenshots. Like the second part, one is here, one here, one. It's not clear. Like the whole process, I don't know which process I'm looking at. I don't know which screen I'm looking at. It's not clear. Another thing is attention to detail. There were many typos. I saw a number of typos. Not, I wouldn't call them many, but I saw a number of typos in your case study. Remember, it's like you're selling. Your case study is like what you'd use to market yourself. So you want it to be perfect, you want it to be good. Yeah. So that's one thing that you need to look at. The other thing is requirement. Your requirement should connect with what you designed. Because you see, as Godfrey shared the same sentiment with me, I felt like this was a template that you lifted from the net and just made some changes. Why? It's because even the pain points that you found during your research, you did not connect them with your solution. So I'd look at when I want to hire, what value are you going to deliver? Are we going to give you these requirements? Are you going to get insights from our users? But then what you deliver won't cover them. Then why should someone hire you? So that is one thing. Another thing, how you started your case study about yourself, the philosophy. No, that should have formed part of your tell us about yourself. Yes. One thing I like that came out when you're answering question one is passion. I felt there is passion for design, and that's a good thing. But yes, I'll give tips on how to answer those questions. There's something I'm going to share. So another thing, I like how visually appealing your case study was. It's very clean. That and the white space, the spacing was good. So that's another thing. Your personas did not connect with your research. How do you make your personas? You make your personas through the research that you've done. They should be a representation of the people you interviewed, the people who did your surveys. They should connect, since it should be a representation of your findings and your insights. So I felt there was a disconnect. Then on how to define UX, I didn't feel like it was well defined. Yeah, what is user experience? User experience, the emotional outcome that a person or a user gets after interacting with your product or with your service. You see, so even how you define, so when that question is asked, someone is looking at your understanding of the basics, of which, if it's a basic, then it should be at your fingertips. It's like that's bonus points. That's bonus points for you. So Godfrey, you can add on to, you can give your feedback on that.
Yes, I think over and above, I think you've mentioned most of the things that I will have highlighted or just picked also from your case study. I think what I will also want to echo is when you told us, when we asked you to take us through your portfolio, I think the first two slides, three slides that you shared actually acted like a distractor. So I was now learning more about you, whereas I was expecting to see you telling me you're working on this project and this is what you did, this is the problem statement and all that. The other thing that maybe I have not been mentioned is about how you structure your portfolio. I think basically, like what Alexa said, you're a UX designer, so you should tell a story. And in a way, how you structure your portfolio, mostly, or when you're coming to an interview, mostly it should not be like your portfolio that you shared with the recruiter. Assumption is that you already shared as your portfolio, so you've gone through all your product, the projects that you've shared. So the best way to have done is just to create a slider or a template that you can use to follow, but make it in a way that I can follow. Like, for example, on a sidebar, you can have all what you're going to cover in different sections because it will help me as a recruiter to follow from here. From problem statement, we are going to now look at the research. Like in a sidebar, I'll be able to follow and then make it less in terms of content so that you don't spend more time reading. The recruiter can just look at it because here we want to do is to understand your problems solving skills and how you went about it. Not read the whole case study from start up to the end. Remember, we actually gave you like 40 minutes. At times you'll get the interview. It's actually 30 minutes, and within 30 minutes you have convinced the recruiter that you're a good fit for that job, and also have a session where you can answer and get a few questions from your case study. All right.
Yeah.
But over and above things to do with alignment, I think I'm big into in alignment and white space. I think that was a big win for you. Things really flew well. I could actually look at them and see what you're talking about. The visual aspect, yeah, there was well thought about. All right, and then the last thing I think I will say is on a case study or when you're doing a portfolio, there are things that definitely recruiters will look at. I will look at your problem statement. How do you define it? I will look at your research. How did you do your research? What are some of the methodologies that you did, which you actually mentioned well? But I think the one place that you really didn't mention a lot is something like even competitive analysis. I'm very sure if you look around on the internet, you'll get a solution that does something that you do, or maybe you did not discover. Actually, within the discovery phase, you could have done a competitive analysis so that you can see what other platforms, and it is not maybe for this one, other platforms that you could be doing, or other journeys that products that you'll be doing. It's also to do some competitive analysis. It also helps me as a recruiter to know that yes, you are concerned about what other people are doing in the market, and you can identify the gap, and there is something that you can do to make your solution or your service stand out to the others. All right. I think that's one of the biggest win within that section of competitive analysis. All right. And then the last thing I would say is about journey maps. I think you spent a lot of time on journey maps, and you're actually reading through what you mentioned. So it's supposed to be like a high level where you just walk me through. What I want to see is emotions. I want to plot the emotions. I want to walk the journey of this customer that you're solving for. So just walk me through the frustrations, the emotions, and then I'll be okay. All right?
Yes.
I think that's it for me, Alex.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeffrey. We can go to Florence. Yeah. So one thing I loved is how you answered the question about tell us about yourself. So you are for me, I was able to get like your experience in finance, in sales, insurance, investment, as well as investment. So from the word go, I felt like yes, this is a problem solver. And when actually you're interviewing for a company that is working in this space, then already you grab someone's attention and they're ready to listen to you. So that was one thing that I loved. You are able to create solution based on insight. So I felt like they are part of the solution that you are able to connect, like to reflect the insights you got from your research in your design. Improvement areas that I see, as I said about Sharon as well, you need to distance yourself from the solution. You're not creating this solution for yourself, so don't talk about I. There's no I. When actually, and when you're being hired to work in a team, there's no I. It's always we. Yeah, because there's co-creation and collaboration that has to come out from the word go. So when you talk about more about I'll feel like this person will be more working in silos, working on herself alone, not collaborating, maybe not a team player. So that's something that you should eliminate so that someone that doesn't get that. Another thing, confidence on a project that you choose. So be confident with the project that you choose for that walkthrough. You know why? You want to minimize, not even to minimize, you want it to be clear and minimize the number of questions you'll be asked. Because within those questions that we asked you, we were able to know that we were able to know that where you're basing your decisions is not mainly part of it is not mainly maybe on research, and it's not mainly about the users. And remember, for UX, it is user-centered solution design. So that's one thing. Yeah, there's also part of your research that did not connect. Then what actually was the biggest problem for me was on competitive analysis. So show it, because you've just shown like Bolt, Uber Eats, Glovo, but then what do these things have that what do these other solutions lack that you have in your solution? What is your selling point? That needs to be clear, because I felt like when you talked about, let's say, time, they don't tell you maybe when the meal is being prepared. That is done. That is there. But then how do you improve it? How do you build on that? Because remember, when you're doing your exploratory research, you're looking at what can I build on? What are other people's doing that I can learn from? It's not about reinventing the wheel. We are not, don't reinvent the wheel. Build on like the research that is done, existing solutions. And when, from a business perspective, because remember, UX has to get revenue for a company. So there's the revenue part of UX. But then if I feel with your competitive analysis, you're going to get a competitive advantage for the solution that you're creating. So these people don't have that. I have that. It's an advantage on my solution. And that's why I'll need to hire you, because I see you can be able to bring more value, to build on my solution, to improve it, to streamline it, and to make it a superior experience. Yeah, so I think those were my points for you. Godfrey, you can go. Then I can take people through the sample questions as we answer the questions on the chat.
Thanks, Alex. I'll say over and above what has also been mentioned, I'll just point like two things that I feel like so didn't really come out here. One, it is how you define the design process. I think it was like 5 words that you mentioned. As a recruiter, I feel like you are not quite sure of what you're saying, or you do not know the basics of UX design, or what the UX design is. That should be on your fingertips that you can even elaborate. And then one of the best pointers, or something that I can say, is how you want to win the recruiter is even connect it with a real life example when you're defining UX design. Just don't. Of course, I know sometimes you cannot cram what is actually has been rated there, but just mention something, then you can connect it with something. So, for example, you can give an example of how people use a banana, how people commute. Just get as real life example that you can use to plot how you understand design, all right, in your own language. Then you mentioned about a few things about the questions that you were asking during the interview. You mentioned about the age. I also didn't feel how the age really came about to shape how the product will be, like the final product. I didn't see why then you'll ask about the people's age, and then it doesn't actually inform anything on your final decisions. And then I still have like I said about competitive analysis. Let's have more meat on competitive analysis. Like I said, it helps the recruiter know that you're concerned about what other people are doing out there, and you are willing to make your product even more superior, because the end goal is to try and win your customers for your product that you're building, not build a product that is already existing. So what will be your aim for the product? All right, so it helps you show that yes, you're willing to make a superior product that has, even if it is one feature that is more superior, that will make your application to really stand out. And then the last thing I'll speak about is design. I still feel like there are trade-offs, design patterns that you really did trade off. I don't know if it's a design decision, but if I'm a recruiter who is looking someone who can do UX, of course I can give you 80% in terms of how you conduct UX, how you document it, how you use UX to guide your insight into your design. But once it comes to UI design, I think there is still something that you can do more, something to do with consistency, answering why you maybe used a background of one person. That really didn't make sense for me. And then something else like contrast, how you use colors. I still feel it's a way that you can improve. But the general case study, it was easy to flow, other than where you brought the flows. Actually, that distracted the whole thing. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Godfrey. So I have a couple of sample questions that you'll find mostly in UX interviews. So how do you define UX? The recruiter wants to know your understanding of the basics. Yeah. So have your basics right. You can go through them that morning or that time, just before you, as in prepare well, and don't forget about the basics. What is your design process? So I want to know how you do your design and how do you do this. Even if you define, I might not be able to get it right, because there's no like a specific design process that works for everything or works for everyone or works for every use case. So have work to support your words, and that is like the case study. So, and I think you pointed out some of the things that you need to have in your case study and how to structure your case study and your portfolio. Then there's a question might be asked, how do you work with engineers, product managers, and other designers? So this is about collaboration, uh, teamwork, and more importantly, it's about the culture fit. So can you fit in our existing culture? Yeah. Tell me about an assignment that was difficult. How did you handle the situation? So this is, we are looking at how you approach issues at work. So critically analyzing and evaluating the problem or the situation. Then we're also looking at your problem solving skills. The other part is, what is the most interesting project you've worked on? So these are the three questions. So what we're looking at is your strongest and weakest qualities, because you've been given like an open check. We've not decided like the project you want. We've not told you, tell us about this project. No, what is the most interesting project you have worked on? So always have that one project that you're comfortable with, that you can be able to express these things. Because while you're answering this question, a recruiter will be able to keep up to pick up your strongest and weakest qualities. So with that, I think we can go to the Q&A. I think I can take the first question. So this is from Mary asking, my question is, when it comes to redesigning an existing app, is it wrong thing if you choose a color palette way different from the one in the existing app? So that there's no definite answer for that, but then you ought to have a reason why you do that. So why did you choose to use a different color palette? Was it then with that, do you have like new brand colors? Did you do branding for that? If you not, if you don't do that, then it won't make sense. But if it's not just a redesign, you want to introduce like almost like a new experience, then you can go and use a new color palette that's way different from what the owners or the designers of the app used. Godfrey, can I take the second one?
Yes, thanks for that. I just before I take the second one, I just want to add something about creating your own colors when you're rebranding for a company. Basically, what it will feel when you're rebranding and you start defining new colors, it feels like you're mocking the brand, the current brand of the current company that you're branding for. All right, they have their own culture. They have their own brand guidelines. They have defined that color, what it means to them. Probably even they've gone ahead and conducted some research to find out what that color resonates to their customer. So it acts like an insult when you create a new color style for branding. For example, if you're rebranding for Safaricom, you remove Safaricom green and then add yellow. It acts like an insult to the brand. So you should not do that. Please just conform to what you do, what the colors are, the colors that they have. There's another
Before
question.
you go to the next question, allow me to interrupt you. Mary, read more on color physiology, because different colors have different meaning and they bring out different emotions. So that can guide you as well. I hope you answered your question well.
Yes, thanks for that, Alex.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
All right. The other question is that I wanted to ask the interviewer about consistency guidelines and whether they constitute and and what they constitute, whether they are different from screens to screens or they are not. I'll answer this question by benchmarking on Google material guidelines. Mostly, for example, if you're doing mobile experience, there is guidelines that have been stated by materials. So it has defined, for example, if it is the up bar, they've defined. If it is the bottom bar, they've defined the number of even icons or actions that you can have there. They've given also the best practice. For example, what we are asking uh, Sharon and her colleague is, for example, when you have an icon at the bottom sheet, at the bottom nav, the navigation, you've just added the icon alone. Where is the label? All right. So part of the tips from Google, they have defined that if you have an icon, add a label to it. It makes it easier for even your users to understand. So there is guidelines for web and guidelines for app. But of course, sometimes you just say it's not like casting stones. You can be a bit creative, but make sure you're within the guidelines. It's actually designing for accessibility and also what you call designing for it's accessibility and inclusivity. So your design has to be inclusive and has to have accessibility, or should have a check on accessibility. But basically, Google Materials has all the guidelines that have guided on what to do and what not to do. So please, the person who has had, maybe you can read more on material.io.
Yeah.
Alex?
Yes, just to add on what Godfrey has said, remember when the key wins of consistency is the user doesn't have to learn to learn new things. I'll give an example on Google as well. So when you land on any Google app or any Google portal or website, without even being told that this is by Google, how they do their things, how they use their colors, how they use their icons, it's the same across the different platforms. So this means that a user won't need to learn again when they go to a different platform by the same company. Yeah, they don't have to do that. Then also consistency contributes greatly to brand love, and brand love then contributes to revenue. So the other one was, is one supposed to add a new set of wireframes to the case study when you make iteration instead of going straight to the final decision? It's not a must. Actually, you don't have to add it, but then you need to provide the insights. Yeah, you can just list the insights that you got. Then those insights should reflect in your final high fidelity prototype. Yeah, I think we are done with questions on the chat. Maybe anyone in the session that have a question that was not posted in the chat, you can ask. Any question? Okay, I don't think there is any other question. Yeah, so
I have a question.
yes.
So let's say you're going for an interview, but for the projects that you have signed an NDA that does not allow you to disclose them.
Mhm.
Are you allowed to continue going for the interview, or you have to drop from the interview?
So NDAs work differently. So first you can consult with the company that you did that project for. So there's one option. There are several options. So one option is masking out. They can tell you mask out this information, because then that is if you share that, their competitor can use that to improve their product, and which will negatively affect the company that you did that solution for. The other one you can have where you ask the interviewers to sign an NDA. So you have an NDA form for them, meaning that this is purely for this exercise and it should not be used for any other purposes. Is that clear, Adela?
I can
Yeah,
add
it's clear.
something. I can add something for NDAs. Sometimes you, like what Alexa said, you can mask out, or you can talk to the company and mask out some of the important information. However, you can just show the processes that you did, of course, but not giving the output of, for example, if it's a research, you cannot give the output of the research, but you can document and say, these are the processes that I did, blah, 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 blah. A bit of a small information that I, as a recruiter, can say, yes, there is a project that you did, it has a disclosure. And basically, I'm a recruiter, I will understand there is information that is not supposed to be shared.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I see Florence hand is up.
Yeah, okay, about that question.
Mhm.
I had like the competitive audit and the reports, and I
Mhm.
held it back because now these are local companies, and I felt like I'd be giving too much information.
On the competitive analysis part.
Yes, yes.
So what you do is you do feature-wise. So let's say the tracking. Let's say Glovo has maybe let's say Bolt, Glovo, Uber don't have. So you see, like you're ticking, then doing X. So with that, you're learning. Actually, this that one doesn't have. This one doesn't have. So I can. That's something I can be able to add. It's not giving much information. You do it feature wise. You look at the main features that are based and connected with your pain points. So with that, you won't be giving that much information. Even a cat table, a small cat table, that's enough.
I had the table, but I felt like if I put it here, maybe it will be too much information because I'm talking about the local companies.
No, no. Actually, it could have helped, as you have seen.
Okay.
When you're creating your case study, you look at what will help you build this case well. Remember, it's not a must that you put everything that you did in a case study because there is a lot. There's a lot of documentations. There's a lot of processes that you did, but you don't need all of that. So, what is the key thing to include? What do you feel will support your case study?
Okay, thank you.
Karibu, Sharon. I see your hand is up.
Yes, I had a question on the point of asking the interviewers your questions. Do you wait until you're given the chance to ask, or
Oh yes, and that's apologies for that. Myself and Godfrey forgot to include that, but that is always provided. So you'll be asked, do you have any question to the panel? That will always be there. They'll give you a chance. So there's that chance, but at any point of the interview, you can ask. Because remember, you're also interviewing the company you're joining. You're also looking at the culture, how they do, how the team works. So it's a two-way, it's a conversation. So it's a two-way conversation. Also interview them on things that you maybe you want really to know and that are key to you if you want to join that company. Maybe you're moving from one company to another company.
Yeah, exactly. Just also to add on is, of course, you'll have that session where you'll ask maybe one or two questions. But one of the biggest tips is to ask questions that will make the recruiters see that you're really interested and you're really willing to be part of the organization or the company. So one of the things that you will ask is what am I expected to do in this role once I get to this role, and then you can ask questions about what is, for example, if you're doing or you're recruiting for a design role, you can ask what is the current design processes that they have. It makes the recruiter feel like yes, this person has the passion and he's actually willing to know more about the company, and at the back of his head, he will think of, yeah, he wants to know about our design processes, and there's a way maybe he could improve our design processes. So ask questions that will make the hiring manager see that you have the passion in your career and also willing to maybe make an impact to the organization or the company. Thanks.
Thank you, Godfrey. So I see Maggie's hand is up. Ask.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I wanted to ask, in the case that you're asked a question, maybe to support a decision you made or just a general question, and you don't know or you're not sure about it, is it best to answer based on what you know and risk looking like you're not sure about what you're talking about, or say I'm unsure about this at the moment, or I don't know?
Be honest. Tell you the truth, be honest. Most of the recruiters will see bullshit through bullshit. And it's something I was told.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
uh,
That exact one. The see, uh, when you're trying to cut corners, I see. Be honest, because remember, no one is perfect, and it doesn't mean that you need to know everything. So don't beat around the bush. If you don't know, just be just be honest, because you will learn. Also remember, this is an opportunity for you to learn. So if you don't know, they're able to guide. Like I think if you saw, there are places where the candidates, they could answer, then we tell them, not this, but maybe you could have done this way, or maybe you could have included this. So you learn in that. Plus, they'll see that you're honest and you're ready to learn. And that's something many recruiters look for, that eagerness to learn.
Exactly. And what to also say is that at that point, when you're answering, if someone has said smooth, I don't know, it's connecting to that answer. Yes, answer it in a way that it is a bit polite, because at that point is when also the recruiter will want to see what are some of the personal skills that you have. So do you answer in a rude way, or just feel like, you're not concerned, that you don't know, you don't even care about it? Just be honest, make the answers feel like, yes, of course. Even if the recruiter will be in that position, they will feel like, yes, this person does not really know and is willing to learn. Don't bullshit. They'll find out.
Yeah. Florence, I see your hand is up again. Kindly ask.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Sarah, no problem. So there is a time we did have a session with the UI UX Nairobi chapter. So about what recruiters look for in UX candidates. So I'll share this document in this chat for you for more information, as well as to see maybe the interview process in one of these, in many of these big companies that you aspire to work for. So that's all. If there's no other question, back to you, Mandela.
Thank you, Alex and Godfrey, for taking us through the session. So I don't think there's any other question. Yeah, but please also remember to share what you guys have learned. You can listen to a blog or tag the specific speakers and the specific handles. I think I shared them on the Slack and Group. Yeah. So that's all, and I don't think I have any other questions. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. And,
Che- Cheers, guys. Thanks for having us. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.